conditions. So when they say parity, what comes to our mind? This term, parity. Parity means the same. The same. Parity means the same, equal, at par. We are at par, we are equal. We are at par, that means what here? Equal. And this is very, very common in your exams. I mean, very common in your exams. If you understand this very well, then I'll tell you something nice. By the end of the session, utakuwa uko sawa kabisa. Na wanafunzi wengi on Fridays, most of you don't attend Friday classes. If we had this AFM on Thursday evening, most probably would be more. So what I don't know is what you normally do on Fridays. Do we have some members in the house? Do we have some members in the house? We shall overcome. So we shall start right away with a interest rate, parity condition. Interest rate, parity condition. Interest rate, parity condition. And then you tell us there that if interest rates of two countries are the same, comma, the exchange rate will remain constant, i.e. F will be equal to S. F will be equal to S, where F is forward exchange rate, forward exchange rate, and then we have a S is the spot exchange rate. So remember, spot means what here? Today's exchange rate. This spot means today's exchange rate. Ladies and gentlemen, please listen. If, for example, inflation rate in the US is, say, 10%, and it happens that the inflation rate in Kenya here is 10% for a whole year, it means automatically that if today's dollar, for example, today's exchange rate, the dollar is 135, for example, Kenya shillings per watt here per dollar. If the inflation rate in America will be equal to inflation rate in Kenya over time like one whole year, ladies and gentlemen, then automatically, come end of the year, we'll still have the exchange rate being what year? Being the same. Exchange rate being the same, meaning that interest rate is a big factor whenever it comes to exchange rate what year? Exchange rate fluctuations. Interest is a key factor. Because we know that these exchange rates will never be what year? Will never be the same. They'll never be the same because of what year? Fluctuating interest rates between what year? These different nations, Now, ladies and gentlemen, why I came here today is to show you something. Okay, can I rub this, ladies and gentlemen? Can I rub this very fast? Can I rub this? Yes, okay. So why I came here tonight is to sell to you something very easy. It's called the interest parity rate model. The equation, interest parity rate equation here. Equation. So we normally say that F equals S into 1 plus interest rate of country C all over 1 plus interest rate of country B. This pen of mine is not one of the very best, but we shall overcome. I'll get a better pen. I will get a better pen in a moment. So F equals S plus interest rate of country C all over 1 plus interest rate of country what here? Country B. Country B. So ladies and gentlemen, I would want us to contextualize this by looking at an example. So assuming that today S is 130 Kenya shillings per dollar. Kenya shillings per dollar. This is a spot rate, today's spot rate. And then they have given us interest in US, 3%, interest in US 3%, and then we have interest in Kenya. Interest in Kenya, Kenya is a useless country. Interest in Kenya, let's talk of 18%. So we are required here to determine F. Using this interest parity rate equation, determine F. Determine F. Let's determine F together. Let's determine F together, abracadabra. Let's determine F together, oh yeah. So the most important thing is that we have the formula here. This formula, not write it down again. This formula is yours. You can pick it. You can pick it. Now, here, the only thing that so many students are not able to know is how to define country C and how to define country B. The moment you know how to define those two countries, the numerator country and the denominator country, then you are at home. You have understood the entire question. Now, please listen. For you to know which one is a numerator and which one in this case is a denominator, you look at the expression of the spot given. So the spot which has been given here is 135 Kenya shillings per dollar. You see, per dollar means that dollar is denominator. Per dollar. All right, per dollar. All right. So ladies and gentlemen, in this case here, we have 135 Kenya shillings per dollar. So in this particular case, which country do you think, when you look at your expression here with your inner eyes, which currency or rather which country do you think is the numerator? Which country should go up? Is it America because America is a superpower? No, it depends on this expression. So you can see Kenya shilling is on top and the dollar is at the bottom here. So Kenya is on top. So basically here, when I write my forward exchange rate, this is how my forward exchange rate will look like formula. My forward exchange rate will be equal to S into 1 plus interest Kenya, all over 1 plus interest USA, just to be together with this, in line with this. So Kenya goes up. I've seen somebody asking what this F stands for. F in this case here stands for forward exchange rate. Forward exchange rate. So I've been able to show you, basically, you have to always think like this. Kenya shillings per dollar. So Kenya shilling iko juu, dollar iko chini. So Kenya ndiko juu. So then abracadabra, go ahead and substitute. You great ninjas, go ahead and substitute here. You great ninjas, go ahead and substitute. So then if that is the case, my F here will be equal to, the spot rate is 135 into, we have 1 plus interest rate in Kenya. Interest rate in Kenya, we have it somewhere. 0.18. All over 1 plus interest rate in the US, which is 3%, 0.03. So abracadabra, go slowly there. You will say 135 times, of course, this bracket, even if it's 1, you have to handle this separately. Or first of all, you deal with the brackets, the brackets as per body mass. Stop video. All right. So remember, what have we said? You must be able to see the expression of the spot rate. The spot rate is Kenya shillings per dollar. So if you write this it will be Kenya shilling on top, dollar down. So Kenya will be on top. So it will be spot rate, which is 135 times 1 plus interest rate in Kenya, all over 1 plus interest rate in the US, like that. Then I have to get my calculator. I don't seem to see my calculator around here. I have it now. So then this is what I will do. I'll come and say 135 times, open brackets. We have 1.18, close, divided by open brackets here to take care of the denominator separately. So 1.03, you close. So what are we getting there, ladies and gentlemen? What I'm getting here is 154. What I'm getting is 154. What I'm getting here is 154.66. In this case here, Kenya shillings per what year? Per dollar. Kenya shillings in this case here per what year? Per dollar. So then, ladies and gentlemen, what are you able to see here regarding in this case here, the Kenya shilling? Is the Kenya shilling gaining value or losing value? Gaining value or losing value? Because initially $1, we could get it for 135. Now we are getting $1 for what here, somebody? Quite a lot, quite more. So it's losing value. It's losing value because you can see now, you see initially, when you buy a dollar, when you have got fewer Kenya shillings buying a dollar, that means the Kenya shilling is gaining. Like right now, the Kenya shilling is really gaining, you can see in the market, all right? But if it was to move to 154, then we are losing. We are losing. We are losing. We are losing. Let me give you, ladies and gentlemen, another question here. You try this on your own. Let me give you a question. Let me give you a question here so that you get to try this on your own. And then we get to discuss something nice. So I'm looking for a question for you, great ninjas. I'm looking for a question for you, great ninjas. Where is this question? Why is this question disappearing? Yes, I've gotten it now. I think now I will be able. This is really a very common area. Very common. If you give me like only 2 minutes, I get a good question for you guys. This one, every student must understand this. If you don't understand this, then rest assured that next semester, I'll not teach you in a serious level. I would want to teach all of us next semester at a serious level. Not this level. This level is not serious at all. Where has this thing really gone now? Oh my God. All right, so here I am. Here I am. So we are writing there a question. We are putting down here a question. So, and the question reads here, assuming that the annual interest rate in Kenya is 14%. We're writing there, assuming that the annual interest rate in Kenya is 14%, whereas the annual interest rate in the US is 12%. Is 12%. Full stop. The spot rate is $1 US. Spot rate. The spot rate is $1 US equals $1 US equals Kenya shillings 106. Kenya shillings 106. So we are required here, we are required to determine number one, 1 year. Number one, 1 year forward rate. Yes, I'll be able to repeat 1 year forward rate, 1 year forward rate, 1 year forward rate. And then number two, 6 months forward rate, 6 months forward rate. So I repeat reading again the question. So we are told here, assuming that the annual interest rate in Kenya is 14%, whereas the annual interest rate in the US is 12%, And then after full stop, the spot rate is $1 equals 106 Kenya shillings. So we are required in this case here, ladies and gentlemen, to provide a 1 year forward rate and a 6 months forward rate. Abracadabra. Now, please allow me to do this question pretty fast now that we have the question. Now, because they're giving us interest rates between the two countries, ladies and gentlemen, what we shall do here is to come and calculate the forward rate using interest rate parity theory. Interest rate parity theory. So interest rate parity theory, so solution, interest rate parity, IRP. To get F, we normally take S. Into 1 plus interest. Which country do you think in this case here will be on top? Which country will be on top? We have got two countries. They don't tell me Zimbabwe. We don't have Zimbabwe here. We have two countries. We have US, and then we have, in this case here, Kenya. Which country do you think will be on top? Thank you very much for lying. Thank you very much for lying. Because this has to be rewritten properly as an exchange rate. This one is the same as saying 106 Kenya shillings per dollar. Yes, because per $1. Thank you for trying, but you are wrong. We're supposed to write this as 106 Kenya shillings per what? Per dollar. Now, with that in mind, which country do you think are we going to put on top? Which country do you think are we going to put on top? USA? No, Lillian, this is very simple. You can see Kenya is the one that is on top. It's Kenya shilling per dollar. You see, per dollar means that the dollar is the base. If the dollar is the base will always go to the denominator, Lillian. Lillian, check again, Lillian, then you confirm you are able to follow. Don't ever define the numerator and denominator country from this expression. It has to be written like this, 106 Kenya shillings per dollar, for you to be able to know which one is the numerator and which one is what here, the denominator. So then in this case here, we shall come and write like this. Forward will be equal to S into 1 plus interest Kenya all over 1 plus interest USA. And then, ladies and gentlemen, my spot will be like this. My F will be equal to the spot has been given. The spot is 106 into 1 plus interest rate in Kenya. That one was given to us. Are you able to remind me what was the interest rate in Kenya? Are you able to remind me what was the interest rate in Kenya? 14.14. Thank you very much. So 0.14 all over 1 plus interest rate in the USA. In the USA, I can remember vividly, it was 0.12. It was 0.12. So could you be kind enough and give me this forward rate? So you get your calculator. And then you'll press like this. So we have 106 times open brackets, 1 plus 0.14, you close. You divide by open another bracket, 1 plus 0.12, you close. You say equals. I'm getting something nice. Is there somebody who's getting 107? Thank you very much, Stella Maria. 107.89, 107.89, where you guys will lose a mark. You're not telling me the currency is involved. So it should be 107.89 goats. It cannot be goats. It's 107.89 Kenya shillings per who? Kenya shillings per who? Kenya shillings per who? Kenya shillings per who? Kenya shillings per dollar. Kenya shillings per dollar. Kenya shillings per dollar. Thank you very much. Now then I would want to give you an opportunity, everybody. We try Roman 2 of this question, where now they want us to give them this prediction, but in this case here covering how many months? 6 months. Covering 6 months. covering 6 months. Covering 6 months. So Roman 2 now. It's a 6 months forward exchange rate. 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 According to Bill Clinton, quite a nice name, 107, yes. 107, yes. You guys are geniuses, I mean. You guys are geniuses. You guys are geniuses. Thank you very much. You see, everything else will remain the same, except for the fact that we are going to prorate these interest rates. We are going to prorate the interest rates. We are going to prorate the interest rates. Remember, this is an annual rate, and this is an annual rate. So when we are prorating, we shall only come and multiply this with 6 over what year? 6 over 12. Also, this one here times 6 over 12 like that. And then remember, this 6 over 12 is only punching the interest rate. It doesn't punch this one, because we are apportioning this to cover how many months? 6 months. We are apportioning this to cover 6 months. So then abracadabra with my calculator, this is what I will do with my calculator. I will come and say 106 times open brackets, I'll say 1 plus 0.14 times 6 over 12. You close. You divide by open another bracket. 1 plus 0.12 times 6 over 12. You close. And then you say equals. I'm getting exactly 107. 107. 107. Never try to do these things like separately. You're doing this thing in your calculator. One stroke of a pen, you have an answer. So all of us now, are we together regarding that? 107? Are we together? All right. Thank you very much. All right. All right. All right. Thank you very much. And then now, ladies and gentlemen, please go ahead and give me what we call interest, not interest, but inflation rate parity. So B, inflation rate parity. Inflation rate parity. Inflation rate parity. Now, ladies and gentlemen, again, just like we said with the interest rates, if inflation rates are at par, inflation rates of two countries are at par, are the same, then the exchange rate between those two countries will never dance, will never fluctuate, will never fluctuate. So if inflation rates between the two countries are the same, So ladies and gentlemen, we are saying here that if inflation rates between two countries are the same, then the exchange rate between the two countries, exchange rate will remain constant, i.e. the forward exchange rate will be equal to the spot exchange rate. The forward exchange rate will be equal to the spot exchange rate. Remember, spot is today's rate. Spot is today's rate. Spot is today's rate. And that is why every government is so keen about the inflations in their country. Inflations in their countries. All these great countries will always ensure that the inflation rate in their country is minimized. Because if your inflation rate is minimum, then your exchange rate will be stable. Your exchange rate will be stable. So can I rub this, my friends? All right. Thank you very much, Nancy J. Thank you very much. All right. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this is quite a very simple question. So what these guys will do, they'll come and they give you, for example, two currencies here. They'll give you two countries. So for example, we have Kuwait here, and then we have Kenya. All right. And then they will give you, in this case here, interest rates. In this case here, for example, 11%, This could be 9%. Then they'll come and give you inflation rates. This would be 3%. This can be 7% like that. And then they'll come and give you the spot exchange rate. The spot exchange rate is 15,000. 15,000. No, let me talk of 0.0. Let me talk of 0.001. 0.001 Kuwait dinar. Kuwait dinar per Kenya shilling. So Kuwait dinar per Kenya shilling. 0.001 Kuwait dinar per what year per Kenya shilling. And then we shall be required here, we shall be required to determine the forward exchange rate, forward exchange rate using inflation parity model. This has been tested not once, not twice, many times. So I would want to give you exactly 3 minutes, Then you get to give me your answer. I think I should reintroduce this model that I used to give you guys some cash. Until in this case, somebody started telling me that, Mwalimu, you know what? You are favoring girls more. So I said, to be fair to everybody, let me stop giving. Somebody really called and accused me. Well, you don't give us, Mwalimu, nothing. And even those guys, they're the same. You don't diversify. You're not seeing us when we are lifting our upper hands, or when we are writing our answers down there. So we shall overcome. So like now, this one here is going to give somebody a present. It shall give somebody a present, yes. This shall give somebody a present. If one I can see you are laughing at, perhaps you are sharing the same. All right. So the first thing you do there is to write the formula. You know, Kuwait dinar is a very, very high value currency. CPA microno 0.1. I like how CPA microno is able to own up that title. I will never tell you that's wrong. That's how it's supposed to be. You're supposed to own those kind of titles early. Don't be cheated by anybody. So long as you don't advertise outside there like you're doing taxation, but you're supposed to be owning them. So like now, how do you call yourself straight away Shady? Sorry for using that example, but I mean, it should be CPA Shadrach or something like that. That's how you start visualizing yourself. Yes. We shall overcome. Sylvia, thank you for asking that question. Not many will be able to remember that the examiner here has told us to use what inflation parity. You know, it's inflation parity. So you can only use inflation, meaning that interest rates are what here? They are irrelevant. Interest rates are irrelevant. Is there any ninja that decided to use interest rates? Is there any ninja that had started? Is there any ninja that had started using this interest rate? No, Shady. For our class, I mean, to be able to visualize that we are passing this semester, all of us were CPAs. All of us were CPAs here. Ndio naangalianga hata vile mmejisave kwa WhatsApp. Ona mwingine amejisave ati mama twins. Don't market yourselves that. This is social media. Social media is supposed to market yourself, for example, depending on what you are doing. Let the whole world know that you are good in matters of tax. You can even call yourself tax expert. All right. Mama Twins, what are you selling now? What are you selling there? Ama we shall overcome. Ama we shall overcome. Mwalimu wachana na sisi. Sawa, 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 sawa. We shall overcome. Okay. Thank you for that. We shall overcome. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. So, we are using this formula, F equals. So, we have the spot. This will be 1 plus inflation in which country? Inflation in which country will be on top? Which country will be on top here? Which country will be on top? Which country? Kuwait, yes. It will be Kuwait because of this expression. Kuwait. Kuwait dinar over Kenya. Kenya this time around is down. So in this case, is inflation Kuwait all over 1 plus inflation Kenya. Ukiconfuse hiyo, unapatikana vibaya sana. Kwa hivyo sasa S hapa itakuwa ni 0.01, 0.01 into 1 plus Kuwait inflation. Kuwait inflation is 0.03. All over 1 plus inflation in Kenya, 0.07. If you guys were to be very honest with me, is there somebody who used Kenya? Is there somebody who took Kenya on top? Is there somebody who took Kenya on top, if you have to be very honest with me? Hakuna. Shedi useme hivyo. Useme hivyo Shedi. Aya, useme hivyo. There must be a ninja. The most important thing is that we have learned. We've learned the hard way. So then you come here with your calculator, you say 0.01 times, we have here into bracket 1 plus 0.03, you close. You divide this by 1 plus 0.07, you close, you say equals. So you say like that. So I'm getting something very funny, 9.626, 9.626. This is what I'm getting. (9.26 times 10 raised to -3). In those old days when I was in Nanyuki High School, I had a very good teacher there. Aliniambia, ikiandikwa -3, you write 3 zeros like this. 926. And then in between the first 2 zeros, don't write any add another zero. In between the first 2 zeros, you put a decimal. You put a decimal like that. 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 Nancy is saying it is -4. Kwani yangu imesoma mbaya. Is it -4 or -3? Ala. Are they 4 of them? Hii yangu imesoma kwa namna gani? Kwani nilikosea mahali? Ala. Yes, niliandika 0.01. Inafaa ikuwe 0.0. Yes, 0.001. Yes, thank you very much for that correction. So it's supposed to be -4. Kwa hivyo woye hata imetusaidia kujua. Woye tufanya namna gani? Tuandika 0 Tuandika 0 namna hiyo. Alafu 926. Alafu unaweka decimal. Unaweka decimal. If you had a bad mathematics teacher, lazima alikufunza ile kitu kamwe hivyo. Atipaka kaingia na hapo hivyo. If you had a bad mathematics teacher, but we shall overcome. 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 All right. So in this case here, these are still Kuwait dinars per what here? Per Kenya shilling. Per Kenya shilling. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after that, now we go to the Fisher's equation. We go to the Fisher's equation. We go to the Fisher's equation. All right. Unajua utapata mwanafunzi hapa alifunzwa na si kwa ubaya. Alifunzwa akaambiwa ati body mass ati hii ni sawa na off. Hii sio off. in order. Like now, for example, 10 raised to power 3, the powers, indices, etc. Because you see kama ni off ni exactly the same as what you multiply, then that is, I mean, big mistake. But again, we don't want to look at the past, tulienda shule gani, lakini we shall overcome. Here we find ourselves. Here we find ourselves, we shall overcome. Life is very good. Life is very good. Life is very good. Life is very good. Sasa, tuende kwa Fisher's equation. Fisher's equation. Fisher's equation. Fisher's equation. Don't worry. Let's not talk about that. Let's not talk about So now we have Fisher's equation. Fisher's equation. So tell us there that this is similar to the interest rate parity. It's very similar to the interest rate parity model. However, it uses the nominal. It uses the nominal interest rates to predict F. It uses nominal interest rates to predict F. It uses nominal interest rates to predict F. To predict F. And by the way, that is why I normally volunteer to teach your children. Whenever they close school, I normally have a voluntary program where I teach your children mathematics. So I'll be able to tell you, like 2 days, I take them through mathematics. From Form 1 to Form 4, we lump them together. And then I take them through mathematics till they become very good. Okay. Sasa turudi hapa. Okay. Sasa tuangalie hapa Kenya, Uganda. Kenya and Uganda. So we have real interest rate, 10%, 12%. Inflation rate, 8%, 9%. Inflation rate, 8%, 9%. Spot exchange rate. Spot exchange rate, 30 Uganda shillings per Kenya shilling. So we are required determine F using Fisher's parity condition, using Fisher's parity condition. Determine F stands for forward exchange rate. F stands for forward exchange rate. Forward exchange rate. Forward exchange rate. Now, abracadabra, imagine kitu sio ngumu. Na uzuri mshafanya Fisher's equation na Mwalimu David. Ukaambiwa Fisher's equation na Mwalimu David akakwambia namna hii. Fisher's equation tunasema 1 plus nominal equals 1 plus real into 1 plus inflation. Please write it in full. This is 1 plus nominal. N is nominal rate of interest. Nominal rate of interest. Yes, 1 in capital budgeting, yes. Same. 1 plus nominal rate of interest into 1 plus real rate of interest, and then 1 plus inflation. So basically go ahead and tell us that nominal then will be equal to 1 plus R into 1 plus I minus 1. So remember, Fisher's makes use of the nominal, N for each country. So you must give us the nominal for Kenya and the nominal for Uganda. Unaweza kweli? Hebu tuanze na nominal ya Kenya. Nominal ya Kenya. So itakuwa ni 1 plus R. 1 plus R. So R, remember, R is the real. In Kenya, R is 0.1. R is 10%. Into 1 plus inflation in Kenya, 0.08. 0.08. And then whatever we shall get, we shall subtract 1. Whatever we shall get, we shall subtract 1. Whatever we get, we shall subtract 1 there. Yes, do you understand? Sana Ronald, pek inamaanisha nini? I need to know Luo. So Luo is a very good language. 1 plus 0.1 times 1 plus 0.08, close, you say minus 1. I'm getting something very nice. I'm getting 0.188. Thank you very much. 0.188. So the nominal Kenya is 0.188. Hebu sasa nipatie nominal Uganda. Nipatie nominal Uganda. So nominal Uganda, I'm using the same formula. I have here 1 plus the real rate of return in Uganda is 12. You see 12% is 0.12. Into 1 plus inflation rate in Uganda is 0.09 minus 1, like that. So then this will give me 1 plus 0.12 close times into brackets. We have 1 plus 0.09, you close, minus 1 equals. So I'm getting 22, quite a huge figure, 0.2208. So these are the interest rates that I will be able to use. These are the interest rates that I'll be able to use in this case here to get my Fisher's forward rate. I can see good students already. I've got it. So everything else is the same as the other model. Everything else is the same. So come and write the formula. So the formula here is F equals S into 1 plus interest. So in this particular case, which country will go top? Which country will go tops? Is it Uganda or Kenya? According to the spot rate expression. Remember it is 30 Uganda shillings. Yes. So interest rate Uganda. All over 1 plus interest rate Kenya, like that. So then my F here will be equal to the spot rate. The spot rate given here is 30 Uganda shillings. Into 1 plus interest here in Uganda has to be the nominal interest rate. It has to be the nominal interest rate. So 0.2208 all over 1 plus interest rate in Kenya has to be the nominal, which is 0.188, like that. Abracadabra, what are we getting here? Abracadabra, what are you getting here? 30.828. 30.828. Is that correct? All of us, are we on the same wavelength? Are we talking the same language? All right. So the first 1 hour, that really was our intention, to show you guys how we get the arbitrary, or rather how we get these interest parity forecasts, inflation parity forecasts, and then we have Fisher parity forecast. Very important. Once now we have understood, before I move on, you know, at times in this case here, you can go and get a situation where this examiner is giving you, like he has done that in severally. He gives you like inflation rates. He gives you like nominal. He gives you like normal interest rates. And then he goes ahead and asks you, determine the forward using interest rate parity. Anything that has got inflation has to be cancelled. So inflation will be cancelled. Also, this Fisher's thing, if they've given us its interest, it has got inflation, you cancel. So you shall use the normal interest rate. I'll be able to show you how that question looks like. All right. So then the last thing for today, and today we should be able to finish our class quite early because I know it's Friday and most of you are thinking of other bad things which will be very bad. So I want us to go straight away to what we call arbitrage profits here. Not the ones of mergers and acquisitions, but the one of what here, somebody international. We call it an international arbitrage. Unfortunately, by the time we are finishing this section, and I would have loved to even finish this in 20 minutes, but by the time we are finishing this, it will be more than 1 hour. So don't start celebrating. Don't start because you have to finish this. You have to finish this. So don't start celebrating. Stanley. Okay. So here we have 3 types of arbitrages. 3 types of arbitrages. We have in this case here first of all, what is arbitrage? Now, ladies and gentlemen, we talk of arbitrage profit whenever we earn risk-free profits here. So arbitrage profits are risk-free profits. Arbitrage profits are risk-free, profits, risk-free profits, and by an investor who exploits price differences of a commodity in different markets. So any investor who is able to exploit price differences of a commodity, like for example, we have bananas in Kisii. You get them from Kisii, and then you sell them in Nairobi. Then you'll be said in this case to be earning what here? Arbitrage profits, risk-free. And it is actually arbitrage profit when you don't put in any money of yours. You're borrowing. You borrow, buy, sell, return, in this case here, money to the person who has lent the money to you, and then of course you remain with profit. You're not taking any risks. You're not taking any risks. So we talk of arbitrage profits are risk-free profits earned by an investor who exploits price differences of a commodity in different markets here, in different markets. Great. Move aside. Thank you, Esther. Great. So once you finish, let me know. Let me know you're finished now, Esther, to write, so that I can continue. Great. Now, ladies and gentlemen, there are 3 types of arbitrage profits here. We have what we call locational arbitrage. Number 2, we have triangular arbitrage. Number 3, we have in this case here what we call covered interest arbitrage. Covered interest arbitrage. So locational, here we are going to have 2 currencies. Triangular shape. So triangle, 3 currencies. Here we talk of 2 countries or 2 currencies. 2 countries. Unakimbia Uganda, unatoa pesa huko, unafanya abracadabra, unaleta Kenya hapo na cover the things like that. So I've written up to here. Finished. Thank you very much. So hapa hakuna kitu, na ilikuja kama na semester hii allocation. Oi, wanafunzi wakaona giza, kitu rahisi, kitu ya kutumia akili tu namna hii, tena ile akili ya high school, akili ya high school. Ama wengi mlifanya high school kitambo sana hapa? Wengi mlifanya high school kitambo sana? Ah? No. Oh, 90s. Wow, Richard. Richard, what do you mean? Are you sure you were just Richard, you must be a young man. 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 2003. Oh, okay. Ukiingia exam inakura haiwezi. Problem sasa Stanley niyo kusweat. Hiyo kusweat nilikuwa nimewaambia last time. Usizoe kusweat sana kwa mtihani. Unajua kwa wanafunzi hata sasa hivi tunaongea hivi, unakuta tu for no reason mwanafunzi ana sweat tu. Sasa unajua hiyo ni shida. That's a big problem. That's a big problem. You should go to exams without fearing anything. I'm still children kumbe. Yes. The attitude said yes, I also like that. Ukiogopa sana, anything ambao unaogopa zaidi itakuuma. Mimi nakwambia ukweli, usiogope sana. Just a minute, I'm trying to get the questions so that we tackle 3 of them and then we shall be good to go. Yeah, mention there illustration. Children, illustration, okay. Illustration. Consider a Kenyan investor. We are writing all of us. Consider a Kenyan investor who has Kenya shillings 500,000. Consider a Kenyan investor who has Kenya shillings 500,000. Great, Ronald, great. Consider a Kenyan investor who has Kenya shillings 500,000 to invest for a short period of time in the money market. Consider a Kenyan investor who has Kenya shillings 500,000 to invest for a short period of time in the money market. The exchange rate quotes in the money market are given as follows. The exchange rate quotes in the money market are given as follows. I'm telling you ni kitu ya high school. Wewe kama uko unaona maswali kwa high school sasa, utatuambia, tutakuuliza unasoma shule gani? Tutakuuliza saa hizi. So tuko na Bureau X, alafu tuko na Bureau Y. Si lazima tukumbuke kuifanya, lakini at least lazima unakumbuka kuiona mahali. Haya. So Bureau X, na tuko na Bureau Y. So tuko na bid price, na tuko na ask price. All right. Na pia bureau ingine ni hivyo. Bid price, and the ask price. All right. So then what do we have here? Kenya shillings per Uganda shilling. Kenya shillings per Uganda shilling. So bid price is 0.12. Ask price is 0.13. Ask price is 0.13. Bureau Y, bid price is 0.14. Ask price is 0.15. Required. Determine the gain from allocational arbitrage. Determine the gain from allocational arbitrage. Determine the gain from allocational arbitrage to the investor. If there is somebody who is keen enough from your past papers, you must have seen exactly this kind of a question. This kind of a question. I repeat, is there somebody who can take a screenshot of how they've the question that they've written down and then they send it to our WhatsApp group? Yvonne, do me a favor, take a screenshot of your question. Or Ronald, thank you. Take a screenshot of your question, utume kwa group. Unajua Esther ni jina kubwa sana kwa Bible. It's a very, very big name. These are not people you can ignore. Esther ni jina kubwa sana. All right. Mbona tukia Shedi we? Shedi vile ameandika inafaa kuwa Shadrach. Jina mama yangu. Lenny. And I hope Lenny, your mom is doing well. All right. All right. All right. All right. All right. Yeah. Shedi vile andika Shadrach. Inafaa andike in full CPA Shadrach. Hiyo Shedi hapana. Shedi tunakataa. So that I hope you guys have been able to write that question down very well. Chirichiri una spoil jina Esther wewe. Uongo Shedi. Uongo. I'll need to see your ID card wewe. Uongo. Aya, sasa mi nitavuta hii swali kwanza yote. Nataka niwapeleke polepole sana in a very friendly way. If there is a day I would want you to be my friend, it is today. Don't be a friend of mine in any other day. Today, be a very good friend of mine. Be a very good friend of mine. Today, be a very good friend of mine. Yeah, those jokes are very nice. We shall overcome. Now, so I want you to be a very good friend of mine. Let me see my friends here. So we have in this case here, Ronaldo. Don't, if you're writing this, write this at the back of your books or somewhere else. I don't know where. Rough work. Notes zetu. So Ronaldo, of course, Ronaldo is a classmate of ours. So we are aware that Ronaldo is a Kenyan. He's a Kenyan. Ronald has received $1 million. So then Ronaldo would want to go and exchange this money in some bureau. So he goes to a bureau. He sees a bureau that has got a good red plate. Inamulika namna hii, red plate. So imeandika hivi 130 to 132 Kenya shillings per dollar. These are the exchange rates. So we are required here to determine the amount he will receive. Determine the amount he will receive. Determine the amount he will receive in Kenya shillings. Ronaldo. Aya, abracadabra. Niambieni hapa itakuwa ngapi? Aha. Hii aviator inamaanisha nini? Naona ikiandikwa sana aviator. Inamaanisha nini? Aviator or something. Hiyo maanisha nini? Hiyo mtanifunza hiyo. Tumesema leo ni marafiki. Mtanifunza hiyo inamaanisha nini? Unacheza na pilot or it's an investing tool. Ni moto. International investment, okay. Mtaniambia kama kuna pesa tuwekelee, ingawa siwezi wekelea, lakini sababu sasa tunaongea kuhusu finance, lazima tuangalie mambo ya risk na tuwekelee tukue international investors. Mwenye ako sawa kubet hiyo inafaa niambie. So 130 to 132. So niambieni ukiangalia vizuri sasa huyu Ronaldo atapewa pesa ngapi? Na hii bureau. Please fungua roho yako kabisa. Leo nataka tuzungumze ile one on one like this. Usiogope chochote. Wewe niambie. Yuko mwana kwa kiniambia mwalimu ati bureau itachukua average at 130 plus 132 divided by 2. Alafu ndio bureau itampati on the base of the average. Hiyo ni uongo na usijaribu kuniambia hiyo. Hiyo ni uongo. So ladies and gentlemen, one thing you're supposed to know here is that buying and selling of currencies is normally a role of what here? A role of the bank. It is the bank that normally buys and sells currencies. Let me teach you something that you have never known today, a shortcut of knowing this. For you to be able to know between the two, which one is the buying rate and which one is the selling rate, you look at the position of your home currency. Ronaldo is a gentleman that we know here is a Kenyan. So his home currency is Kenya shilling. His home currency is Kenya shilling. So where is Kenya shilling? Kenya shilling is on the left, is on the left side. So if Kenya shilling is on the left side, then the number on the left becomes the buying rate. So this will be the buy rate, the buying rate, and this will be the selling rate. So it depends on the position of your home currency. These are not cows. You know, it's in Maasai land where we say that I'll buy a cow for 15,000 and then I sell it for 18,000. I'll buy a cow for 15,000 and then I sell it at a higher rate. So these are not cows. Never tell me that always, Mwalimu, the lower rate will be buy and then the higher rate will be sell. It doesn't work like that. There is some logic here. If, for example, I go and get somebody writing something like this, 30 to 32 Uganda shillings per Kenya shilling. Which rate from the Kenyan context do you think will be the buying rate? 30 or 32? Which rate? Which rate do you think? 32. Because you always work with the position of your home currency. So kama sasa hapo unatingiza mkono, hata kwa exam nataka kuona wanafunzi wakitingiza mkono, bora usigonge neighbor. Unaona, unajiuliza where is my Kenya shilling here? It is on the right. Unatingiza mkono mnai kabisa. So the right figure, this figure here on the right becomes the buy. That's how you chase your buying rate. Ukiconfuse unapata zero entire question. So ladies and gentlemen, in this case hapa tuko na 32. This 32 becomes the buy. This becomes the what here? The sell. So buy versus what here? Sell. You can see now the example of the cow. Don't tell me, it depends on how. Normally it's about which currency is weaker. If the country that you were making reference to has a weaker currency than yours, then automatically you do things the opposite way. Like now, Uganda currency is a weak currency. It's weaker than Kenya currency. That's why we are doing things abracadabra, the opposite way. So the opposite way, we are seeing, ladies and gentlemen, a situation where buy is here, and the sell is here, like that. So buy and what here? Buy and sell. So always the home currency, where the home currency is, Kevin, yes. The position of your home currency, we shall always be following that position to know our buy. But again, if you get a bad examiner like myself, there is a time, those days when I used to set, nowadays I don't set. I think I became a bit old. So you give them two countries, you give them like France and Uganda. And then you tell them that Yvonne is the investor and Yvonne is a Ugandan. You see, already you have defined the residence of Yvonne. She's a Ugandan. So in that case, then I'll be shaking my hand towards the Uganda shilling. So when I did that one time after Kasneb exam, about 4 students called me immediately. Shake a hand. But now, where did you expect us to shake our hands to? And Kenya was not there. So nikajua nimewamwaga. So, you know, when they spell it is towards Christmas, you tell them it's an error. At least you make them to eat their Christmas festivities, whatever, in a nice way. You encourage people. Sasa yeye alishindwa shake mkono kwenda wa mwingine ananiambia sasa mwalimu niliweka katikati. Au ndio wale average. Yeye aliweka mkono katikati. Au ndio average. We shall overcome. International disaster, yes. It's home currency. It's home currency. We shall overcome. The pilot was Vietnam. Okay, so listen here, listen. So at least I've been able to define buy and sell. After you do that, you must come and tell us what the role of the bank is in any transaction. You must tell us what the role of the bank is. What is the role of the bank? Now, please listen. Ronald has gotten $1 million. So what Ronald will do, of course, him being a man from Nyanza, he must be having a very good briefcase. If he doesn't have one, he's not from Nyanza really. So what Ronald will do, will arrange this 1 million US dollars, put them in his nice briefcase, walk majestically to Equity Bank, perhaps Equity Bank. I love Equity Bank. It has saved me out of many situations. Equity Bank, because they're expensive but very nice. So he walks to Equity Bank. So what will Equity Bank be doing regarding this transaction? I can see Ronald selling to them the dollars. So the bank will buy the dollars. I can see them. You must be able to visualize. So the bank will buy the dollars. So the bank will buy the dollars. The bank will buy the dollars at what rate? At 130, because 130 is the buying. We'll buy the dollars at 130. We'll buy the dollars at 130 Kenya shillings per dollar. Then go ahead and exchange. Go ahead and exchange. So when you're exchanging, we can now write this expression in full. It is 130 Kenya shillings equals $1. How about 1 million US dollars? How about 1 million US dollars? How about 1 million US dollars? So then that will give us 100 what here? 30 million. Or bank buying, no problem. So I'll get 130 million US dollars. Remember, this money belongs to who? It belongs to Ronald's. And Ronald's, in this case, he would want what? Would want Kenya shillings. So then Ronald will take this money to the bank, and you can see he'll go and place his executive bag on top of that counter. Of course, in short, I'm trying to imply that the bank will buy from him, because you must look at the role. What is it that the bank is doing in this foreign transaction? The role of the bank. The bank is buying. Don't tell me that Ronald is selling. Ronald, in this case here, in this particular type of examples, international markets, Ronald is but just an Ochugunu. Ochugunu is a small animal. We are looking at the bank. The bank in this case is the big thing. What is the bank doing in this transaction? So the bank will buy. The bank will buy. The bank will buy. So I hope that Janet helps a little bit, but we shall overcome. We shall overcome. Now, let me see this. Let me see this. Let me see this. Let me give you one question to try. So we have one student in this case here who is, I'm using examples of our students here. We have Shedi, example 2, before we go back to our locational arbitrage. So example 2, so we have Shedi. Shedi wants to import a vehicle from Japan. The price of the vehicle is 50 million Japanese yens. Equity banks, exchange rate. Equity banks exchange rate is, I'm just putting an arbitrary. Is there somebody who could, let me just put an arbitrary. It doesn't matter. So equity banks exchange rate is 0.01 to 0.015. Japanese yen per Kenya shilling. So we are required to determine the worth of the vehicle. The worth of the vehicle in Kenya shillings. The worth of the vehicle in Kenya shillings. We shall overcome. So Shedi wants to import a vehicle from Japan. The price of a vehicle is 50 million Japanese yens. Then we have, of course, ladies and gentlemen, listen. Shedi, I'm using Shedi because Shedi is a classmate here. Not unless we don't know much about him. I believe Shedi is a Kenyan. And this guy, he doesn't want to buy using American dollar. He wants to buy this thing right from Japan. and has gotten, in this case, a seller who is willing to sell to him at 50 million Japanese yen. Remember, in Shedi's pocket, he doesn't have Japanese yens. He has Kenya shillings. So he must pass through a bureau, an exchange medium, which is Equity Bank. So now with that little explanation, I would want to see, ladies and gentlemen, whether there is any student who will be able to really lock things up here. Let's see whether there is anybody who will be able to lock up things here. Aha. Rafael Kalich. Great names here. Great names here. Janet. Janet, please endeavor to put your name, to start your name with a capital letter in Zoom, in Teams, always. Especially when you are at your workplace meetings, always ensure that your name starts with a capital letter. You are not an Ochugunu. No. Senior person. And it's not her alone. I can see so many guys here who don't care. There is a place there where you change the name, your name. Great, but you haven't changed yet. Lizzie Muteto, 750,000. Stella Marie. Then we have Ken. All of them are saying 750,000. Now, please listen. I'm 100% sure you guys will not be correct, simply because nobody followed the procedures that I gave them. Nobody followed the steps that I gave them. Nobody. So kwanza kabisa, tingiza mkono. Tingiza mkono. Ni gani itakuwa buying rate? Hapa, hizi ikuwa mbili. Gani itakuwa buying rate? Tingiza mkono. Tingiza mkono. Ni gani itakuwa buying rate? Buying. Shedi hapana. Shedi ni swali yako unakosa. Shedi sasa wewe uko na shida. Angalia, Kenya shilling iko wapi? Si Kenya shilling iko, Shedi hatujui kushake mkono. Kenya shilling is on the right. Kenya shilling is on the right. Then when I shake my hand, the right figure becomes the buy. The right figure becomes the buy. This one becomes the buy. And this one here becomes what here? The sell. So kwanza tuko pamoja paka hapo kwanza. Tuanzie hapo kwanza. Paka hapo kwanza tuko pamoja kweli. All right. Now from there, go ahead and go to the second step. Do the second step. The role of the bank. The role of the bank. So the role of the bank. So in this particular transaction, what do you think will Equity Bank play? Which role do you think will Equity Bank play? Are they going to sell or buy? I'll be able to give you shortcuts to remember. I'll be able to give you shortcuts, but for now, I want you to think hard. What is the role of the bank? Thank you so much. It is to sell. Normally, when it is a payable, if Shedi is to pay 50 million Japanese, when it's a payable, the bank always sells. Whenever it's a payable, the bank always sells. Whenever it is a payable, the bank always does what here? Sells. I hope you would get some place there to write. How I wish you could write that. That for foreign currency payables, the bank will always sell. And then there is another one that I would always want, ladies and gentlemen, to teach you. Another one that I would want to teach you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so sure you guys are not aware of this, but we shall be coming to it, that we have something we shall be calling foreign boyfriend. A foreign boyfriend buys dinner. Foreign boyfriend, please write that somewhere in capital letters. A foreign boyfriend buys dinner. Write that the way I'm speaking, the way I'm saying it. A foreign boyfriend buys dinner. So what about local boyfriends? Is it possible? Is it easy for you to get a local boyfriend, girls who are around here, baby girls who are around here? Is it possible for you to get a local boyfriend who can buy you a nice dinner? Not unless at your very initial ages of dating. But after some time, we don't like wazungus. Wazungus yata waze. They go out and have dinner. They go out and have dinner. Stanley. So foreign boyfriend, they always buy dinner. They always buy dinner. And we shall be seeing later on that if it's a foreign receivable, if it's a foreign receivable, the bank buys. The bank buys. So ukisikia kwamba Shedi is to receive foreign currency, you have to remember that thing very fast. Foreign boyfriend buys dinner. But it shall come out clearly when we go to the next topic called derivatives. We shall be doing what we call money markets. But for now, I would want you to appreciate that a foreign payable, the bank sells. A foreign receivable, the bank does what here? The bank buys. The bank buys. The bank buys. Very, very important. If we are able to understand this, then we are very good. We purchased dinner. Sylvia, no time. Dinner ni kwa nyumba. Hii ingine hatujui. We shall overcome. We need to change. We need to change. Students of Mwalimu Aura here, they have to be good at family level. We have to be exceptional at family level. You must be exceptional at family level. We must buy people dinner. We must buy people dinner. We must buy people dinner. So in this case here, the role of the bank, look at this. This is a foreign payable because Shedi will get a vehicle, but he'll be required to pay this money. So it's a payable. And if it's a payable, the bank sells. Because Shedi will go to a bank. Tell the bank, I've gotten, in this case, a very good vehicle. But this guy wants to sell this vehicle to me in Japanese yens. And then Equity Bank will tell him, relax, Stanley. We have Japanese yens here. We're going to sell to you these Japanese yens. So the bank will sell. So the bank will sell. The bank will sell. The bank will sell. So sell at what rate? We can see the selling rate is 0.01. This is the selling rate. 0.01 Japanese yen per Kenya shillings. So please then go ahead and exchange. So then we have here 0.01 Japanese yens equals 1 Kenya shilling. How about 50? Was it 50 million? Was it 50 million? Was it 50 million Japanese yens? Ama niliona vibaya. Was it 50 million? Hiyo ni pesa mingi sana. Tuliandika vibaya lakini we shall overcome. So long as tumeshika concept. Was it 50 million? Hey, too much, but we shall overcome. So in this case here, then we'll have here 50 million times 1 divided by 0.01. Maybe tungesema ndege. Tungesema ndege inge make sense, lakini gari make sense, but at least tumepata concept. Hiyo ndio kitu ya maana. Tumepata concept. Tumepata concept. All right. Tumepata concept. So let's get back to our locational arbitrage question. Let's get back to our locational arbitrage question. So we have exchange rates there. They have given us, ladies and gentlemen, they have given us good things there. They have given us Bureau X. So Bureau X has got bid price. They have the bid, and then they have the ask. Bid and ask. Bid and ask. So then we have here 0.12. We have here 0.13. And then we have Y, bid ask, bid ask, bid ask. All right. So 0.14, 0.15. So remember, these are Kenya shillings per Uganda shillings. Now, ladies and gentlemen, it becomes very hard for you to work with this language of bid and asking. It's a very technical language. The very best way, tingiza mkono. Tingiza mkono. I mean, assume hapa kuna dash. Assume hapa kuna dash na hapa kuna dash. So like, for example, hapa kama ni Kenya shilling per Uganda, which one in this case here will be your buying rate? Here is here X. Which one will be your buying rate? Which one will be the bank's buying rate? I mean, we should talk of bank's buying rate. Which one will be the bank's buying rate? 0.12. Yes, because you can see here, Kenya shilling is on the left. Kenya shilling is on the left. Kenya shilling on the left. Whenever the bank wants to bid, It means they want to buy, but that should never confuse you. So know that this is buy and this is sell. This is buy and this is sell. Kwanza paka hapo, tuelewane kwanza. Tuelewane kwanza paka hapo. Because hiyo lugha ya ask imeconfuse wanafunzi sana. So the best ni kutengeneza mkono. The best ni kutengeneza mkono. But remember, for the bank, again, a bright student will be able to know very fast that when the bank has $1 like this and you want to buy from them, they'll ask. So for them to sell to you, they are asking. For them to buy from you, they do a bidding. Banks like doing bidding when they're buying. So for banks, bidding means buying. They place in bids. They place in bids like that. But the very best way, ukitingiza mkono, wewe utaikuwa na shida na mtu yoyote. Hautaikuwa na shida na mtu yoyote. Utakuwa unapata hizi vitu correct. Now from there, what are we told? We are told here, a Kenyan investor has 500,000 to invest. So in this case here, a Kenyan, I wish wangetumia jina ya mtu. Kenyan investor. Wamuita Kenyan investor. Kenyan investor has 500,000. Has 500,000 Kenya shilling. So you see what is going to happen. This guy is playing between Kenya shillings and Uganda shillings. So like now we know with this 500,000 Kenya shillings, is going to buy Uganda shillings from one bureau na uze kwa the other bureau. I will tell you something. Inafaa kuwa abracadabra. Hata usiende kufanya science mingi. Inafaa kuwa abracadabra. So in this case hapo nasema option number 1. If he buys, the first route is he buys Uganda shillings from Bureau X. So the investor buys Uganda shillings from Bureau X, and sells them to Bureau Y. It's arbitrage profit really. It's buying and selling. Hii ndio route number 1. Route number 2 itakuwa buying from Y and selling to X. But first of all, we finish with the first route. If the first route gives us a profit, we forget about the second route. So we pray that the first route gives us a profit. All right. So now he is going to buy, in this case, ladies and gentlemen, what here? Uganda shillings from Bureau X. Sasa abracadabra, maneno ndio hii. Sijui nitaongea lugha gani tusikizane mara moja. Maneno ndio hii. So akienda katika Bureau X, you know the investor is going to buy. But what role will the bank play? So if the investor is going to buy, because he has 500,000 Kenya shillings, so he's going to buy Uganda shillings. So the bank will sell. Hey. Kuna mwanafunzi aliuliza swali moja technical sana. Huyu mwanafunzi alikuwa mwerevu sana. Akaniuliza swali very technical question. Akaniambia mwalimu, sasa mimi nimeenda Equity Bank. Na 500,000, nataka dola. So hawa watanipatia dola, mimi nitawapatia Kenya shillings 500,000. So mwalimu mazee, unasemanga namna hiyo, mazee mwalimu, si mimi I've sold the money, the 500,000. Yes, I've bought the dollars. That one is not in dispute, mwalimu. I've bought the dollars, yes, but haven't I given them my 500,000 Kenya shillings? So haven't I sold this money to them? What in this case will be your argument with that student? Has he not sold the 500,000 to the bank? It was quite a technical question, very tricky question, very technical. Has he not sold? Ladies and gentlemen, just like again, let's get back to our great friends, the Maasais. So if a Maasai was to sell to you a cow for 80,000, so you'll give him 80,000, he gives you the cow. So will you say that you've bought a cow for 80,000, you've bought a cow, and then at the same time you sold money? Your own money is a medium of exchange. Your own money is a medium of exchange. What is being bought and sold is the foreign currency. So in this case, we should talk of buying or selling Uganda shillings. Not buying Kenya, not selling Kenya shillings to the bank. No. So in this case here, the investor is going to buy Uganda shillings from X. So who has this foreign tradable thing? It is X. So in this case here, we are saying here that Bureau X will sell the Uganda shillings to the investor at what rate? So selling, you can see the selling to the investor at this rate, selling at this rate, because selling already you have defined 0.13 Kenya shillings per Uganda shilling. So please go ahead and exchange. Go ahead and exchange. So we have here 0.13 Kenya shillings equals 1 Uganda shilling. How about 500,000 Kenya shilling that this guy has? How about 500,000 Kenya shilling that he has? So please go ahead and do your abracadabras and give me the figures here. How about the 500,000 Kenya shilling that he has, and how many Uganda shillings will he be able to get? How many Uganda shillings will he be able to get? Abracadabra. Oh, the board is not visible. Oh, there is a reflection. Okay. Sorry for that. Wacha turudie tena. Thank you very much for that. Let's repeat again. Let's repeat this. But have you been able to write this sentence? That the investor will buy Uganda shillings from Bureau X and will sell them to Bureau Y? Have you written that? That one is okay. Yeah. So let me come back here. It's good you've raised that because of our future generations who would want to watch this video. So we are saying that 500,000 Kenya shillings, this investor will go and pump this money in X. So he's going to buy the Uganda shillings from X. And then the role of X, because you're looking at X as the bigger brother, so X will sell the UG shillings at what rate? At 0.13 UG shilling, or rather Kenya shillings per Uganda shilling, like that. So then go ahead and exchange. So we have 0.13 Kenya shillings equals 1 Uganda shilling. How about 500,000 Kenya shillings? So when you go ahead and cross multiply, it will be 500,000 times 1 over 0.13, which will end up giving us what figure at the end of the day? Masli, itakuwa pesa mingi hivyo kweli? Yep, when you divide, itakuwa pesa mingi hivyo. 3,846,000 153.84 Uganda shillings. Now, ladies and gentlemen, after that, now we have been able to procure these Uganda shillings. We want to make an arbitrage profit. So we go with this money to Y. So we go with this money. We are the ones now who have these Uganda shillings to Y. So what do you think will Y do in this transaction? What do you think will be the role of Y? Is it to buy or to sell? Abracadabra. Is it to buy or sell? Remember now, we are the ones who have the hard currency. So if you have the hard currency, then you're right. So in this case here, straight away, go to Y. And sell the above. And therefore, Y will buy. Y will do what here? Y will buy. Let me adjust my light a bit. Y will buy. Let me adjust my light a bit. So Y will buy at what rate? Let's see abracadabra. Nimekanyonga. I hope they'll be able to see. Hapo sasa, great. Nimekanyonga sana. Okay. So in this case here, Y will buy. You can see Y there. Y will buy at 0.14. Y will buy at 0.14. At 0.14. So Y will buy at 0.14 Kenya shillings per Uganda shilling. Because we must define these currencies in the context of what is the bank going to do. And we've been able to define the buy and sell. So you can see why now is buying at 0.14. So please go ahead and exchange for me. Go ahead and exchange for me. Abracadabra. So go ahead and exchange for me. Go ahead and exchange for me. So if you go ahead and exchange for me, what do we have here? Abracadabra. What do we have here? Abracadabra. What do we have here? Abracadabra. So we shall have here 0.14 Kenya shillings equals 1 Uganda shilling. How about this much currency that you have here? 38, 46, 153.84 Uganda shilling. How about this? So it will be 0.14 times 38, 46, 153.84. Which will give me how much, ladies and gentlemen? We am alone. 538, 461. So this gives me 538, 461. Now remember, these are what here? Kenya shillings. These are Kenya shillings. So is there somebody who is seeing a profit? Remember, we began with how much in terms of Kenya shillings. Remember, now we are back home. We've come back home here. We've gone round and we've come back home. We started with 500,000. By moving that journey, we'll be able to get 538. So we are getting a profit. And that profit here will be known as what here? Arbitrage profit. That profit will be known as arbitrage profit. So arbitrage profit hapa itakuwa pesa ngapi? Arbitrage profit itakuwa pesa ngapi? Arbitrage profit itakuwa pesa ngapi? Itakuwa 538.46, like that, minus 500,000. So then we don't need to go the other way. At times you start like this and then you make a loss. If you make a loss, you would have gone the other way around. But now here, this journey, the first journey we have gone to, we are making a profit. So we shall stop there. So we are making a profit of what here? We are making a profit of 38,461 Kenya shillings. I'm so sure you guys have not yet understood this, nothing. But I would want you guys to do me a favor. Is there anybody who can spot this kind of a question in their past papers? Please look at your past papers. Tell me which sitting this came. It is a recent question. I would want to help you guys. It's a recent question. Is there somebody who is able to tell me? Yep. Mwenye foreign currency ndio mwenye kusema. Okay, I don't know what you mean, Stella Marie, but please just check for me. Check for me in the past papers, in the past papers. Lakini sio hivyo, kama mimi nilipoteza hii time madola zimeshuka. Iliungua sana. Hata sasa kufikiria. But of course, you're not going to sell. We shall remain with our dollars. Hata kama itakuwa 5 years, whatever borrowing you have done in terms of this Eurobond, at some point, we shall have a lot of demand for dollars. We had thought that the government will not go borrowing, or rather they will go to borrow, but we thought that the international community will not give us enough dollars because they were doubting that we would default. So we thought that the government will look for all the dollars in the country. Tukamwagika. Tukawa a project was at 200 and something. So is life. So December 2022, question number 3B. Are you sure? Nana niambia ukweli. Ile imeandikwa locational. Nataka utafute imeandikwa locational arbitrage. You're gonna bid ask. They're not two, it's only one. Bid ask, it's only one. They're not two. So it is August 2023, question number 2C. It is August 2023, question number 2C. I'm not going to continue with this class. I would want everybody, not one, not two. I want to be of help to you guys. You guys have been of big help to me. I also want to help you guys. Mutoka kwa hii system. Hii system ya kasa ndio kama vile ni system ya majambazi. Toa system ya majambazi. I want every student to attempt that question and send their answers on WhatsApp. Is it possible? August 2023, is it possible? Is it possible that all of us are going to try the question and then we send it? Right now, before we start eating ugali at night. Right now, yes, atakuzeka. Right now, before we start eating ugali or any other thing, let's see who will be the first to bail the cat. Let's see who will be the first to bail the cat. Just try. Najua unaweza kuwa hujaelewa. Mimi najua sana. Ama for example, nilisema kuhusu foreign boyfriend buys dinner, ukakwama hapo. Nikiendelea kufunza tu unafikiria chocho. Ulikuwa unafikiria kuhusu foreign boyfriend. When you remember what your local boyfriend is giving you githeri every night. Lakini sasa sisi ndio tuko. Lazima tu accept hivyo hivyo. So maybe ulibaki kule ama ulikuwa na shida ya network. Network imekusumbua kweli kweli. But at the end of the day, ladies and gentlemen, please ensure that all of us are trying that question and you're putting, even if you don't get it right, it doesn't matter. So long as you try and put it on WhatsApp. Thank you so much. Have a lovely night. It's a night of doing this questionnaire. Bid, ask, bid and ask, bid and ask. A good question from this gentleman, Kevin Wanjala. Let's talk about this. Was it necessary? Ruth anasema, that's me. We shall overcome. I hope that gentleman is not there. He may hate me for life. Mwambie tafadhali mwalimu ni jokes nasemanga tu. Sitaki tukupatana na wewe siku nyingine na bwana wako kwa barabara. Bwana kaniambia kama mwalimu ni kale kanatuchomeanga kama mwalimu. Hapana. We normally use those examples for just class. Nowhere outside. Nowhere outside this classroom. Which question? Please tell Esther, which question are we doing? The handout already nikosha kupatia. Nishakupatia handout Madei Ali. Nishakupatia handout for this topic. We must style up. BMM is saying that local boyfriends, we must style up. Thank you so much. So I'm looking forward to getting those. I'll be so happy today. Nitalala vizuri sana. Nikiona wanafunzi hata kama wamepata wrong, so long as wametuma. Thank you so much. Be blessed. Bye-bye. Yes, Sunday I'll be there without fail. This Sunday I'll be there without fail. Na tumalize hii, mambo ikiwa moto, tumalize derivatives. Thank you. Teacher, answer this. Let me see which one is this. Which one is this? No, I'll not answer that today. I'll not answer that today. Today, I would want us to answer the question that I've given you. When I come back, I like separating these sessions with our investment sessions. Because even this particular trading, forex trading, we have to look at which ones are legit. Very hard to know, but I'll be able to take you through a session on that. Thank you. Good night. Bye.